You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey folks, happy Friday. Yeah, it's Friday, the end of the week. That used to mean something when we were all working full time. I don't know what your situation is, but I hope you had a good week, and this is the launch of a great weekend for you. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to the Intrepid radio program, my show, right here on the Odyssey Radio Network. That's ODYSY1.com. Come on over, see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. At the same time, come on over, check out my YouTube channel, where right now is playing the simulcast in video. And you can join the live chat room going on right now. Yes, right now. As you're listening, as I'm talking. And join the family of Intrepid true believers. For no better way to put it at the moment. That just came off the top of my head. I don't know why that was there. I don't know that anybody believes in this show, but it's not a religious experience, but it is fun, I hope. Come on over to Mr. Scotty Roberts at youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. Click on the subscribe button. And also the little bell, and you'll get notifications of this show. And you can go back and check out the over 300 episodes of this show that are archived and listen at your leisure. And so, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate that you would take your time to spend it with me on a Friday evening or whenever you're catching this broadcast. So, welcome to the show. I'm going to talk about a topic tonight that we don't hear a lot about, and sorry, I'm gonna adjust some of my props here in the background. There you go. I had pushed that way out of the way, my hat rack, and I'm not sure why I did that. So, and it's not really it's a prop, but it's my room as well. My room, my studio, my art supply room, my drawing room, my room where I do everything I'm supposed to get done, and my radio room. So I want it to look sharp. There you go. So a topic tonight that maybe you don't think about all that much, except inside, deep down inside, you think about these things because it's an important issue. And that is the issue of how to make men feel desired. How about that? Now, yeah, I'm talking sexually. I'm talking relationally. I'm talking all those things. You know what guys are supposed to be? We're supposed to be those tough, strong, sweaty, swarthy bastions of masculinity. We're the guys that go out and, we kill meat and bring it home to eat and feed our families. And we build stuff. And we do chores, and we've got honey-do lists when we're more domesticated. Because when we're more domesticated, those things have come down a little bit. We don't do as much of them. But, guys have needs that sometimes women don't realize are there, and guys don't really want to talk about. Why? Because we're guys. We don't talk about that shit. That's why. And so I want to talk about it. I want to kind of break it open a little bit. And if you're a woman listening to this is great, because it will help you realize 5 ways that you can make your man feel desired. And there's probably a lot more than that, but I've boiled them down to 5 basic things. And the reason I am on this topic is, well, it popped into my mind because there are times where in relationships we're married to people, or we're with people, or we have long-standing relationships, or sometimes short-standing relationships with people. And the guy thinks that the guy has to do all this stuff to win the woman over and to keep the woman and to keep her happy. And those things are true, and those things can be talked about as well. So I don't want anybody to go, well, why are we talking about just guy stuff? Women have these things too. Well, that's because we're talking about the guy part of it today. We'll hit the women stuff another time. We're all pretty familiar with the things women need. But what about the things that men need? Especially that thing to feel desired. There are times where in my own relationship with my wife, she's busy, I'm busy, and I'll be the one that'll come up behind her, give her a hug. She's standing cutting a tomato at the counter, whatever it might be. I give her a hug, sometimes a little squeeze, sometimes a little grope, and I go, hey, 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 and guys do things, and we do things for our wives. It becomes the thing that we do. We open the doors. We try when we can catch them before our wives open them for themselves. It feels almost silly at times walking out from a restaurant and walking around the car and opening the door for my wife, and she looks at me like, "You need something?" No, this is what we do. It's what we're supposed to do. But we get so caught up in all the little bits and pieces of life, and when you have kids, you got 3 kids you're wrangling. When you're walking out to the car, you're making sure they don't get hit by other cars, that they're paying attention to where they're going, that you get them in the car, and your wife's usually in the car by then, or she's helping somebody on the other side of the car. And so that's the way that stuff goes. There are certain courtesies and etiquettes that have gone by the wayside. It's like our culture no longer asks that of us. And so to do those things, we start to become old-fashioned. Or there are times where, in extreme cases, where a woman will yell at a guy because a guy held the door open for her. If I get a woman that smirks at me or says something bad to me because I open the door, I just let go of the door. Okay, and then I'll move down and open up another door for myself. But I haven't really done that yet, but you want to. You want to go, hey, okay, you're on your own. Sorry, I was being polite. I hold the door open for other guys, too, sometimes. People that I don't know. When I get to a door, I'll hold a door open for somebody. It's just the way I do. It's what I do. But what about in relationships? Now, let's bring that down. Rather than talking about what guys should do for girls or women or gals or whatever, look at all the sexist terms you can't say anymore. That's why I said girls. For women, for our partners, for our significant others. What are 5 ways to help a man feel desire? And I want you to look at desired. And I want you to look at, with me, 5 key things that make men feel desired and why we don't talk about them. All right, you ready for this? So whether it's opening the car door, buying flowers for a birthday or anniversary, or initiating sexual activity, sexy time. If you remember Borat, sexy time. That's become a thing with Rainey and I. Is it time for sexy time? And you have to ask nowadays because you don't know if there's kids around. You don't know when you've got the moment to engage in those things anymore. So traditional sexual scripts, gender norms in our society, and consistently and reliably depict men as the ones who chase and pursue and do the desiring, while women are the ones who are pursued and desired. And that is the general picture that's been around for men are to be the pursuers, and women are like, why aren't you pursuing me today? And guys are like, oh, yeah, right, let me pursue you. And while researchers have constantly found that feeling sexually desirable is a huge component of women's sexual desires, some of the latest research suggests that feeling sexually desired might actually be quite important to men's sexuality too. It's just that a lot of us don't tend to talk about it. And why is that? And by the way, this thing of feeling sexually desired, I know I've been in relationships before where, a woman is like, and I've heard this many times, a woman, I don't want to have sex right now because I don't like the way my body looks today. Or, oh, my breath is bad. Oh, I'm not showered. Oh, I'm not, oh, I put on some weight. And usually by the time you're hearing that, it's like, why haven't we been having sex for the last few months? Well, I don't feel like it right now. Guys, we're kind of like, hell yeah, baby, hop on. I didn't shower, but if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. I put on a few extra pounds, but if you can handle it, I can handle it. Let's go. But women are different creatures. We're all built differently. We're wired differently. So why is it that a lot of us don't talk about men's sexuality and what we want, why we want to feel desired? Why is that? The short answer is that men desire to feel desired. Our desire to feel desired goes against the grain of the narrow stereotype that our society continues to promote around men and sex. Ain't that the truth? That is, if men want to feel desired, it suggests that their sexual desire could, at least at times, be responsive rather than spontaneous. It suggests that men might sometimes prefer to be passive in their sexual. I'll just lay here, honey, and you do me. They might want to be passive in their sexuality at times, rather than the dominant aggressive. Who's on top? Well, me, of course. I'm the guy. Those kinds of questions. And the things we don't ask out loud, we don't talk about out loud unless we're doing comedy about it. And it touches on a key that's underlying a key underlying piece of men's sexuality that many of us don't tend to acknowledge, and that is men's desire might not be so strong, simple, constant, and unwavering. Get that? Men's desire might not always be strong, might not always be simple and constant and unwavering. So I've got a summary of some of the key findings from an oral presentation, sorry for the pun there, that was given at the Society of Scientific Study of Sexuality. That's the SSSS. And the annual meeting in Montreal, Canada. This was in November of 2018. It was entitled, I Want You to Want Me. Men need to feel sexually desired too. And women, now all of you, you might be laughing over there in the chat room and talking this up a little bit out there, but we all know that we all know what men like, We all know that men are sexual beings. We're all sexual beings. We just know how men act about it. And the problem is we don't always click into the fact that men want to feel needed too. They want to feel needed. They want to feel desired. They want to walk through the room and have their wife or their partner or their girlfriend or whoever go, whoa, dude, get over here. We want our women to do that. We want them to desire us. And there are lots of things that build that in a partner, or guys and a woman. A woman's not going to want you if you don't treat her like you want her. Duh. So it's all reciprocal. But the findings from this study, the study again is, I want you to want me. Men need to feel sexually desired too. And the findings from the study help to inform parts of, there's a book that's out there, Not Always in the Mood, The New Science of Men, Sex and Relationships. You can look that book up. So how important is feeling sexually desired to men? So you've got to ask in the study, this study actually asked this question of 230 participants. Heterosexual men, that's non-homosexual men, heterosexual men, guys who like women, aged 18 to 65. And so, yes, Steve in the chat room, this includes you. You're right just in the cusp of this relationship. So listen up. So in relationships of 6 months or longer, the question was how important feeling sexually desirable was to their sexual experiences. While 5.5% of the participants indicated that it was not important to their sexual experiences, a whopping 94.5% of the study participants indicated that it was very or extremely important to feel desired during their sexual experiences. Now that 5.5%, they're the ones that can say, I don't care. I don't care if she likes me or not. I like to have sex. And the other 95% are saying, no, I want to be desired too. So how do men feel sexually desired? understanding how men feel sexually desired is important, especially in a relationship, especially if you are a woman with a man in a relationship and you have sex. Men in the study indicated that there were several ways that they felt sexually desired by their partners. And I categorized them into these 5 key themes based on this study that was done. Number 1, compliments. You realize that? Your man sometimes likes to have a compliment. Now, it's a good thing I'm a guy that does this radio show, because I can talk about this stuff. I can talk about this experientially. And women, if you say, I don't believe, hey, women, you've never been a guy. So this is what guys think, and I have it on good authority. Well, you've never been a guy unless you've changed into a guy from being a woman, but that's a different topic. I'm talking about straightforward heterosexual stuff here. So, number 1, guys like to get compliments. Now, many men indicated that simply hearing their wife or girlfriend giving them a compliment on their physical appearance made them feel good. And it even sexually turned them on. Participants gave examples of when their wife or their girlfriend noticed when he got dressed up for a night out or told him something specific that she liked about his body. It's one example. A guy once said in this study, he says, I feel kind of silly writing this, but she'll call me her beautiful man. Hello, my beautiful man, she'll say as I stand shirtless in the living room or when she walks in while I'm getting dressed. No one has ever called me that, but she says it so effortlessly, and it makes me feel wonderful about myself. So you know what? Guys like compliments too. Now, especially as we're aging, when I get old and losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me, what was it? Valentine's, Christmas greetings, bottle of wine. And, you know, it's that whole thing, will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? And now I've got 4 years to go to 64, so let's see if I make it. So, but even guys that are getting older, young guys, we all like to have our women compliment us. Tell us how good we look. Hey, you look good. You know, even if, you know, we got an extra roll going around the middle that we didn't have 20 years ago or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Guys who tend to get their perfect woman tend to also be guys that let themselves go after a while. I've conquered the woman, therefore I do not have to stay in shape and I don't have to keep my washboard stomach up. You know what? Women like guys to look good too. And you don't want them to compliment you guys because they're lying. You want them to compliment you because, you know, keep yourself looking good for your wife as best you can. But women, sometimes guys just aren't in the best of shape. Sometimes it's all a totally visceral, vain thing that a man, you know what that does to it, how it triggers a man when a woman looks at him and goes, wow, you look really good tonight. And the guy goes, why, thank you. It's what we do. So men like to hear compliments too, women. It isn't just men that are supposed to compliment our wives. I like to, I remember there was somebody that I heard speaking a long time ago when I was working with men's groups in the church. And there was a speaker at one of these big events that we had that was, it was the Promise Keepers group. I don't know if you remember them from back in the 90s, but the Promise Keepers group. And it was all about men loving their wives and loving their families and sticking with the stuff and being committed to their wives and their families. And the one guy said, he asked the guys, he said, how many times, he says, have you, when your wife walks in the room, go, oh, wow. And he says, I tried that on my wife. And he says, my wife is an oh wow. He says, but she walked in the room and I went, oh, wow. And he said, she looked at me and she goes, "What you a wowing at?" And now, keep in mind, now this was a black guy and his wife was black, so you can get the comedic effect of the way he was saying it because of that. And he says, sometimes you got to look at your wives, men, and just let them know, wow, oh, you take the breath away. And you might feel silly doing that, but why? If you love that person, let them know. Not just, hey, chicky, you got some fries to go with that shake? That's okay at certain times, but sometimes your wife, your partner just wants to know, wow, holy cow. And I do that to Rainey, and she always gives me the smirk. Yeah, right, she says. I go, no, I'm serious. Oh, wow. So, men like to be complimented too. It's just part of who we are as human beings. Then you know what? There's this thing about flirting. Men have been described as feeling sexually desired when their wife or their girlfriend was acting flirtatious in numerous ways that suggest she might be thinking about him sexually. For example, some of the participants in this study said things like, making sexual comments or flirting, sending me suggestive texts or pictures, gives me a peek at what she's wearing. Giving me a peek at what she's wearing, that turns me on. Another guy said there are particular dirty looks, the way her hips wiggle when we're lying in bed, that make it clear she's thinking about sex. So, there are things that guys, we sometimes like those. We like the flirtations. How many times, guys are known for showing, pardon me for saying it, dick pics. Hey, want to see my junk? Click, there it is. And, is that sexy? Is that appealing? Sometimes guys we're like, yeah, send them, ladies. But, women don't always like that because we're all made differently. But what if you try to let your guy know that you're flirting with him? Flirt with him in a text. Get him blushing on the other end. When you know he's in a meeting, text him. Tell him, I'd very much like to see you naked. Or whatever it is. Do something. Do you flirt with your partner? Women, do you flirt with your men? Do you know what? Men like to be flirted with too. We like to be desired that way. So the first two we covered in this first half of the show, we talked about complimenting your man and flirting with your man. Now, yes, these are two-way streets, but do you do these things? Do you think of these things outside of it being, well, there's got to be reciprocation, I don't get that much from him. Maybe you need to do it for him. Show him how it's done. You like to show him how to wash the clothes. You like to show him how to scrub the floor. You like to show him how to do everything else and tell him how to drive and tell him how to do everything else. Tell him how to flirt. Tell him how to compliment. Show him these things. When we get back, we're going to talk about a few more things about letting your man know you desire him. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
All right, guys. Thanks for sitting on through that break. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to my show, the Intrepid Radio Program, right here on the Odyssey Radio Network. That's ODYSY1.com. Come on over and see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio and all the places where you can find this show in its audio format at different places like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and other places. It's all out there for you to listen to. At the same time, if you're just listening to the show, you can come on over and join the video simulcast of this show over on my YouTube channel. And at the same time, you'll find the live chat room going on with all the other Intrepids over at youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. And pardon me, I'm drinking coffee while I'm doing radio tonight. And it's been one of those days. I've had a tired day today. And I don't know why. I think it's just from sleeping. My wife is out of town, and she went out of town with her mom to go visit her brother over in North Dakota. It's about 10, 12-hour drive from here, near Bismarck, North Dakota. And so she's having a good time with them, and I've got the kids are with me. And, of course, because Mom is gone, they're all piled in the bed with me. The little 5-year-old, Ellery, she is missing Mom big time. Mom's her BFF. And Rainey even said this morning in texting me, she said, I miss her a lot because the little one lives for Mom. And so the little one's all snuggled up to me in bed at night. And she woke up with a bad dream last night. She saw an arm and a hand in the doorway. And so I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning and walk down the hallway and show her there's nothing. See, nobody's out here. And I did one of these at the door. Ah! And, of course, she laughed. But it was 3:30 in the morning, something like that. And so, you know what? It's been, that's why I'm tired today. I've just been tired all day. And it's been a gorgeous day, by the way. I don't think this is Indian summer yet, but it was like 85 degrees today when it's been in the 40s the last couple of weeks. And so it's only going to be a one-day thing, though, they say. So it's humid and it's 85 degrees, but it's going to drop down into the 70s and the 60s over the next week again, which is more seasonable for early fall. And so I'm a little dragged out, even though the sun was nice today and the warmth was good today. All the windows are open and everything. So I want to welcome you to my show, and thanks for being here. And by the way, I'm an illustrator. I'm a designer. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've always done. Those of you who know my history and know me, you know I've been in advertising and publishing for the last 40 years of my life, from the time I was in high school. And I started out, the first job I got, I was 17 years old in the high school, and somebody saw one of my paintings from the art class in our school, and they called me up and asked if I would come to work for them and draw pictures for dust jackets for hardcover books. And I said, sure, I'd love to do that. Oh, wow, amazing. And that's how I got my start, and I started working in their graphics department. And so, and I've been doing that forever. And I've been an art director and a creative director in advertising. I have been an illustrator all that time, a hands-on designer. I do a lot of design work for books, book cover designs, advertisements, magazines, all of that stuff, corporate identity, logos, things like that. And I illustrate books as well. So if you have any need of any of that stuff, come on over and see my website, scottallenroberts.com. And I think Master Finn and perhaps somebody else is going to drop the link over in the chat room, so you can just click on it, but scottallenroberts.com. And that's Scott with 2 T's, A-L-A-N, Roberts.com. And take a look at my stuff. You can get a hold of me over there. It's what I do. It's my bread and butter for every day of life. So, once again, thank you for being here. Let's get back into this topic of male sexuality. Well, it's not really about sexuality. It's about men wanting to be desired. We want to be desired sexually. We want to have our women compliment us. We want to have our women flirt with us. And let me tell you something, ladies, women, those of you who have men in your lives and your partners, when you're out in public, don't spend your time, what's the opposite of compliment? Insult. Not so much insult, but don't tear down your men in public. You might think it's funny. Guys will do it, and you might think it's funny too. Don't do it. The other person wants to be built up by you in front of other people. They want other people to know that you care about them, that you love them, that it's not just you saying it to them. And guys, we got to show our wives and our partners. Let's just call it we'll call wives and partners. We want them to see that we love them by the things we do. That doesn't mean we don't argue. That doesn't mean we don't have different viewpoints on things. That doesn't mean we would accomplish something a different way than they might. It means that we strive to always work together, and when we have differences, we fix those differences, or we find ways to make them work. And some of these differences, I'm not talking about great philosophies of life. I'm talking about the stupid things like which way the toilet paper roll goes on and how you squeeze the toothpaste tube. Those kinds of stupid things that have been around with us forever, so much so they become cliches in relationships. Those aren't the things that make and break relationships, but they are the things that we camp on an awful lot, aren't they? And my wife and I had an argument about how things get picked up, how things get organized, how the laundry gets done. We argue about those things all the time. And it's my thing was always, I want the towels folded a certain way. Believe it, folks, I do. And when I feel that my wife cares about me, when she's folding towels, she folds them a certain way. Sometimes I find myself unfolding her towels and refolding them so they're the right way. The right way. I've got a way I do it. And I said once in almost an impassioned plea, like 7-8 years ago, I said, can we please, in this chaotic life of ours, have one little corner of civility that I can hang on to? Can we fold the towels a certain way so they look nice on the rack in the bathroom? Now, some people don't care. It's a towel. It's a piece of cloth you're going to rip off the top of the pile, get it wet, hang it up, or throw it in a pile to be washed again. Me? I like to fold the towels a certain way. I fold them this way and this way. Then I tri-fold them so the roll always sticks out, and then I color code them. I'm not anal, folks. There's just a couple of things I like. I like certain bits of organization. And my wife, I even heard her say to her mom once, her mom was over and her mom was helping fold laundry and stuff. She goes, oh, the towels have to be done a certain way. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to beat you or anything. That's not the point. The point is, this is how I like something. Can I ever ask to have something done a certain way and get it done that way? You know, my wife runs the house. She can do her own thing. She lays down the law. And you know why she runs the house? Not because she's little Susie Homemaker. She doesn't wear the dress and the apron and the pearl necklace. She's not Betty Crocker. But my wife has been basically a stay-at-home mom for the last 10 years. So she's the one who really kind of runs the household. I'm the one that gets given the jobs to do. So, you know, women, respect what your husband wants too. And it's not like I want something and I demand her to do it. I just say, this is how I'll fold the towels. Let me do that. Don't do it. I'll do it. I got a load of towels out there right now I haven't folded today that I got to get done. And I'll do them the right way. So, women, compliment your men. Don't insult your men when you're out in public. I don't know how I got on the towel folding thing. Because there are certain things about your men that make them feel desired too. What do you get when you got a guy who doesn't feel desired by his wife? He's a guy that usually stops working as hard to make his wife feel desired by him. And we all know what the inevitable outcomes of those kinds of relationships are. They break up. Or there's affairs. You seek it somewhere else. Now, I'm not saying make your guy feel wanted and desired so he doesn't go looking for it somewhere else. It's not like we're stray rabid dogs, and we got to go out rutting where we can find it. It's that these are the little things that build up. These are the bricks in the wall. We used to say, when I was dealing with marriages, guys in troubled marriages, that what are the bricks that you're putting in the wall between you and your spouse? This can count both ways. Oh, there's another brick in the wall. You're bricking up a wall. What we've got to do is start taking the bricks out of the wall. Take the division out. And women, one of the ways you can do this, since we're talking about men feeling desired and feeling sexually desirable, it's up to you to make him feel sexually desirable. Even if he's a fire plug, and he's as pretty as a rotten stump. Make him feel loved. Make him feel desired. And if you married him, what, did he decay into nothingness since you married them? Or is he the same guy? If he's out of shape, help him get in shape. Do those things for him to get him into shape. So, compliment your man. Flirt with him. Make him feel desired. Number 3, the first 2 were compliment him and flirt with him. Number 3 is physical touch. And I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to always be sexual touch. In addition to compliments and flirtatious gestures, men also describe the importance of being touched by their partner. It's worth noting that this touch didn't have to be sexual in nature for it to make men feel desired. In fact, many men described liking to be touched in ways that sounded more romantic than overtly sexual. For example, one guy said this. He said, "She makes physical contact. She'll touch me when she walks past. Sometimes a simple squeezing of my foot when I'm on the recliner, or brushing my forearm with her shoulder. And when I'm leaving, she'll cup my butt in her hand. And if I'm standing or sitting near her, she'll lean in or snuggle." I love it. And you know what? Guys love to be touched too. And it doesn't always mean you're reaching for the goods. It might just mean you touch, you hug. How often do you walk up behind your guy when he's doing something like folding towels and put your arms around him? Or give him a little swat on the butt as you walk by. Or brush his arm, or run your finger across the back of his shoulders as you're walking by to do your thing. Guys will go, "Oh, hey, she touched me." Touch is a big thing. Maybe you're not a tactile person and you don't think about that. But do you know what? How would you feel if you've got somebody who loves you and they never touched you? Intimacy doesn't have to be sexual. Intimacy can just be being close to somebody. I like to, when we go out to walk, I like to take my wife's hand. I'm always touching my wife. And it's most of the time, 92% of the time, not sexual. I'll walk by her in the living room. We're getting the kids ready to get out the door. I'm ready to drive them to school. I'm like, "Come on, guys, let's go, let's go, let's go." And Mom's standing there in her boxer shorts and her tank top and saying, "Come on, guys." And she's yelling at the kids to go. And I'll walk by her into the kitchen to go get the car keys and, just brush her on the butt as I go by. or touch her on the arm as I go by, or, we're talking, we're yelling at the kids, get going, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I come up alongside her, I grab her by the elbow and I swing her around and I give her a big hug. And I go, and the girls will go, gross, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, I'm hugging your mom. I'm touching your mom. And so, do you do that for your man? Men like that too. You know how your man would feel if you just walked by him and brushed up alongside him and just kept going to do your thing? Rainey will sometimes come behind me. She brushes behind me, touches me, and goes, oh, excuse me. And on she goes to do her thing. And I'm like, you're excused. And so, we have fun with it. But in all sincerity, guys like physical touch. And it doesn't always mean sexual touch. Sometimes we just like contact. That makes us feel good. It makes us feel desired, like the other person wants us. Okay? That leads to number 4, the other kind of touch, initiating sexual activity. Let me ask women. Now, I know that they say there are stages you get in a relationship where that's not as important. Sex is not as important as it was when you were, young humping bunnies. And, there's something obviously, I was going to say metaphysical, not metaphysical, biological. There's another word I'm looking for that's escaping my mind. There's something about that. That wanting to have sex and lots of sex early on, that's all about procreation. I get that. It's the way we're wired. It's how we're put together. Is that part of a relationship as important anymore? And I've heard women say, well, the sexual thing isn't quite as important to us anymore. And I can just see the guy over there sitting there going, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's still important. I'd still do it. But women think that guys don't want that anymore. Guys do. Guys can keep going, but sometimes guys stop working very well. You reach a certain age, and it's like, it's not there anymore. It's not like that anymore. It's like you got to write in 2 weeks ahead of time, make an appointment to have sex. But there's a number of men have indicated that separate from being touched, in what might be considered romantic ways, such as the examples I gave you in the last point, when their partner overtly expressed their interest in having sex to the point that she initiated the sexual activity, it made the men feel wanted and increased their own interest in having sex. I feel desired when she initiates sex, either verbally or through touch. That's what some of these guys say. And without prompting, she will initiate contact with me, cuddling, hugging, kissing, pulling me into the bedroom, or just telling me she wants to have sex with me right now on the kitchen table. Those are things that guys like. It's okay, women, to show your guy that you want to start sexual relations with him. Sexual relations. I said that to Rainey once, and it was in front of the kids because I didn't think they quite knew. This was like a few years ago. So, my darling, are you up for sexual relations tonight? And the kids all started giggling, and I'm like, what? So, sometimes it's okay, women, to let your guy know that you are going to throw down, and he's got to follow suit. You drag him in. You make him go. Many times, he's not going to turn you down. Unless there's other problems in your relationship. So, or there's a good reason. Guys, we could be on our deathbed. We could be laying there going, oh, guys we're such big babies. Oh, my stomach, oh, yeah. And if your wife says, oh, that's too bad. I was going to initiate sex today. And you're like, oh, you pull back the covers. I'm good. I can handle it. I can do it. I'm good. See, guys are usually there. We want to be there. We want to be there for you. We want to be there. We like having sex. We could have sex all the time. Guys that don't, or say they don't, they're kind of not telling the truth, or they've reached a level of life where I don't know what it is. We can get into that. It's another study altogether. But you know what? Guys are okay with sex. And we're okay when our women want to initiate it. We don't always have to be the Kickstarter. You know, the women can do that too. Let your man feel desired sexually by you starting the sexual dalliances, the sexual intercourses, the sexual play, all of that. Get him going. Let him know you are interested in him. Make him feel like, my wife wants to have sex with me. And that goes along with complimenting him. That goes along with flirting with him. That goes along with physical touch. And so initiate sexual activity. And then the fifth thing that the man wants to see is an enthusiastic partner. A little bit of enthusiasm, honey. It's not just, I'll lay here and what chapter was I in my book? I'll read my book. You go ahead, honey. Do you think that makes guys feel wanted? Men in this study also indicated that it was not just the build-up to having sex that made them feel desired, but also how their partner interacted with them during sexual activity. And that mattered to them. That is, men indicated that having an emotionally present partner who is excited and into sex was a huge component of their own sexual desire and enjoyment. And they had no interest in having sex with someone who was just waiting for sex to be over. Staring at the ceiling, counting the pebbles on the spray on the ceiling, and seeing if there's any cobwebs up there. How would you feel, women, if your men treated you that way? Oh, are you done yet? My show starts in 10 minutes. Are you done yet? You happy yet? And so, guys like to know that you participate, and that you're an active participant, and that you're enjoying it. So by giving yourself to me, a guy has said, this is not sexual. This is when we get together and blot out all the other real-world distractions and focus on us, sharing our feelings toward each other without distraction. Let the chemistry work. So it's not just, don't just give yourself to your guy. Okay, all right, I got 20 minutes right now. Let's go. Let's do it. The guy will go, right on, cool, let's go. And you're just like, oh, is it done yet? Are we done? Are we done? You good? Did you get your rocks off? You done? I want to be done. That's where guys are like, well, thanks. I'll go take a shower now. You know what? Men want to feel desired too. So what are we missing in our relationships? Despite the majority of men in this study that indicated that feeling sexually desired by their female partner was an important part of their sexuality, if you ask men if there was anything they wished their partners were doing more of to help them feel sexually desired, only 12% of participants indicated that their partner made them feel as desired as they wanted. The other 88% of participants indicated that they wished their partner did the things that we just described in the last 5 points. Complimenting, flirting, touching, initiating, enthusiasm. 88% of men. And, of course, that's a small swath of our culture for the numbers taken. But I think that those numbers would hold pretty strong across the board. Men want to know that they are desired by their women. And women, do you desire your man? If you don't desire the men, what the hell are you there for? Some people say we're there for the kids. We'll stick it out till the kids are out of school. And then you'll be old and you'll go your separate ways. Unless you started young. Yeah, you might be 38 to 40 by the time your kids are in high school. You could be like me. You know, I'm going to be 72 years old before my youngest one is out of high school. 72. So, you know what, waiting, it doesn't work. Why are you in your relationship with your man, women? I'm asking you women specifically. Why are you there if you don't desire him? Conversely, I'm going to ask guys the same question. Why are you in a relationship with your woman if you don't desire her and make her feel desired? Women, why don't you make your men feel desired? Make it so. Make it happen. And it's like that illustration I used yesterday out of the past where I had a guy that said, I don't love my wife anymore. And I said, write down 20 things you'd do for your wife if you did love her. So he made a list right there in the office. And I said, now go do these things for the next month and tell me where you're at. And he's still with his wife. That was 20 years ago plus. And if you say you don't love your partner, you don't respect your partner, you don't want to flirt with your partner, you don't desire your partner, what the hell are you with your partner for? You're wasting each other's time. Men, if you don't desire your wives, you're wasting her life. And women, if you don't desire your men, you're wasting his life. Now, can you be friends just for the kids if you've got kids involved? Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, and we can talk about that one separately. But if you're together with somebody and you love that partner of yours, women, if you love your man, let him know it. Let him feel sexually desirable to you. And men, make your women want to sexually desire you. You don't have to be a stud. You don't have to assume a porn name to get your wife to sexually love you, to sexually desire you. Sometimes it's the way you treat your wife, the way you desire your wife, the way you show your wife what you think about her, that will change the way she feels about you. So here's a takeaway I want you to have with this before we wrap this up. Men's desire to feel desired has important implications, particularly in heterosexual relationships. First, it's important to consider how much space we're leaving in our society for men to be vulnerable, to be wanted, to be desired. Don't you women always say, I wish my guy was more vulnerable? Well, he wants to be wanted. He wants to be desired. And not always be the ones who are the dominant ones and in control during sexual encounters and other aspects of life. And while women certainly aren't all at fault here, nor purely responsible for making their partners feel desirable, it might be empowering for some women to consider taking a more active sexual role through pursuing, desiring, and initiating sex with their partner. Instead of being more passive and responsive, be proactive. As the more traditional, stereotypical sexual roles our society continues to prescribe of being passive and responsive. Be aggressive. You be the one pursuing your husband. Make him feel sexually desired. You know what? I think you're going to find that a man who feels desired by his wife sexually, is going to be a man that you're going to find is going to bend light for you. And that's all I got to say about that. There's a lot more to say about other aspects of this. But there you go, folks. Take that away. Have a good weekend. Women, tell your men that you love them. Show them that you desire them. Compliment them. Flirt with them. Touch them. Initiate. And be enthusiastic about it, goddammit. And we'll see you on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific Time for It's Sunday. Other than that, you have a great Saturday, and we'll see you back here Sunday morning. Have a good night.